What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Golden Dice Podcast. As you can tell, this will be a little bit of not a little bit. It'll be a whole solo session, and that is what happens when the person who leads forgets to make time and tell everybody, hey, we should record soon, because we'd like to have spoiler videos go out on Monday to recap the previous week, because obviously each day that goes by, we get more and more spoilers, and it can snowball, and then eventually things can be out of date pretty quickly. So I'm going to roll through this. I do have one company with me, so cheers to that, I guess. Not sponsored by Victory Brewing. Got their, what is it called? The Monkey Mix Pack. Golden Monkey, Sour Monkey, Witty Monkey, and Berry Monkey. All great. Truly love them. Highly recommended. But we'll get into the cards, which is what I'm sure all of you are here for. So FFG continues to roll super fast about these, especially these Wednesdays. I'm hoping more content creators get some bigger ones in the coming weeks, because our preview streams are just about over. They did the heroism 2 weeks ago. This past week was villainy. And then this upcoming one is planetary qualifier. But either way, we're going to jump in. And we got 20-something cards. And the first one, we have a ground unit heavy without an A. 4 cost, aggression, and staunch martyr. 4 attack, 4 health, Republic clone trooper. He has coordinate and gets Ray 2. So if there's 3 or more units, including himself, he gets +2 while he attacks. And when defeated, deal 1 damage to each enemy ground unit. He's an uncommon. He certainly interesting. Coordinate. Maybe you've seen on Golden Dice Twitter a little bit. Like I've kind of talked about it. Just not super excited about coordinate just yet. I think it's going to be harder to pull off. I think the payoffs aren't going to be as great as just do an exploit on some things. But this, to me, is a case where it could be really good. And I know the meme always is, this is really good with ECL. But this is a 4 cost. If you have coordinate on, he attacks for 6. And then if he dies from the thing, he'll deal 1 more additional damage to everything else. So in my mind, I'm currently just looking at this like, I can ECL heavy to kill Boba Fett, the leader. It's got 7 health, so I do 6 with coordinate and getting Ray 2, and then heavy will also die in that attack, so I'll deal 1 more damage to Boba to deal the total of 7. And if he happens to have any token droids out or anything like that, it would kill them all as well. And heavy is certainly interesting in that regard of if battle droid tokens become huge, and exploit decks become huge, that 1 damage to each enemy ground unit could prove potentially pretty good. But my mind first went to ECL to deal 7 to something, as long as he dies back, obviously. But Republic Clone Troopers got the tags. Interesting that he is just aggression, not heroism. 4 for 4/4 can definitely be fine if the ability is good. We see that with K2SO. We see that with Forlom. The question remains, will this be good with heavy? And I mean, even if he doesn't get it, he's a 4/4 that when he dies deals 1 to everything. So you can even trade up to those 5 health units. He seems pretty good. I think it'll be great in draft. But Premier, we'll need to see. And then we have our Tuesday leader, which was Padme Amada, serving the Republic. She is command heroism. She has coordinate, action, pay 1, and exhauster. Search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Republic card, reveal it, and draw it. Put the other cards on the bottom of your deck in a random order, as it is with Vader or any other search type abilities like that. And then Naboo, Republic official, epic action. She comes out at 5. She's a 2/7. She has Restore 1, and she still has that same ability, but you don't have to pay for it anymore. Just coordinate, like, I don't know. There's 3 conditions to this. You need to have coordinate, you need to pay 1, and your deck needs to be heavily Republic, because it's only 3 cards. So if you pay and whiff on this and you're trying to set this up, it could be pretty rough. Obviously, she's out in 5, 7 health. That's pretty good. She definitely can get that off without having to pay for it. But, people, like, I feel like my opponents are just going to be able to interact with my 2/2s pretty consistently. And we also haven't seen on the hero side of having the ability to constantly spawn tokens as easy as the villains have. We'll see a few of these coming up in just a minute, but right now it kind of feels like it's a little hard for these hero leaders to spawn the clone troopers. I mean, I know there's stuff like Rex and the Batch Brothers, but it doesn't seem quite to the extent of battle droids. Now, we did get the green base the other week that when the leader deploys, you can spawn 2 1/1 tokens with it. So obviously, Padme, you can even spend your 5. You can take some actions, do some actions. Your opponent spends all the resources. You can deploy Padme, attack with her, and you have the 2 other tokens. Coordinate's going to be 100% online when you deploy her. And that's the neat part about that green base. But the 3 restrictions on her just make her not feel great. And even in draft, I mean, we'll have to see how many Republic cards are in the set overall. She's not a bomb. She can get you card draw. Card draw is great, especially card draw on like a leader, but even like Cassian's is a lot easier to trigger. And I mean, she gets to pick one of 3, but it has to be Republic, whereas Cassian just straight up draws, and all he has to do is deal damage to base. So, I don't know. I'm not super convinced on Padme, and I am sad at the state of green hero leaders so far across the first 3 sets. We still have one more to come. But next up we have, I was thinking maybe I guess last week was the yellow one. But here it is, the 24 health droid manufactory command. When you deploy a leader, create 2 battle droid tokens. It's the rare green base for the set. It's certainly interesting. I mean, it turns on coordinate ASAP. So if you have a leader that does this, in my mind, I immediately went to Ahsoka. So it's almost like a issue is like Ahsoka green better than Sabine green in kind of those aggro, kind of fast-paced decks. But this turning on coordinate could matter for a lot of decks. And I think, to me, that's the biggest thing for that. I think exploit decks won't need this as much, but certainly this will be amazing. I mean, you deploy any number of these exploit decks, and boom, you can now play something for 4 with these things. Like, even if you have a 4 or 5 cost leader, you spend your 5 resources that whole turn, you deploy your leader, they come out, now you have 2 tokens, and now you can play a 4 cost thing. You can play like a Saj or something, right? Seems pretty good. 24, you're losing a health, and you could also just play ECL, which you gain 1 health and have ambush. But obviously the developers think this is pretty good if it has less health than ECL. So just have to get this and keep playing with this. I'll keep saying it's very hard to evaluate these cards with coordinate and exploit because we just simply haven't seen anything in this game. If you ask me how they would interact in the game state now, it'd be terrible. But that's going to be different. We're going to have tokens. It's going to be a totally different game. And here we have a little bit of a Republic payoff as well. We have Tranquility. It's Inspiring Flagship, Unit, Space, 7 cost, Just Heroism, 7 attack, 6 health, Republic Vehicle, Capital Ship. When played, you may return a Republic unit from your discard pile to your hand. On attack, each of the next 3 Republic cards you play this phase cost 1 less, and it's a rare. Love to see capital ships. Love to see Republic capital ships. 100%. Art's fantastic. Hope this ends up on a playmat like Finalizer was. One of the big things I've loved about Heroism, especially leaning into green a little bit, looking at like Home 1, looking at Command, looking at Rogue Skirmisher, them just cycling cards back to hand can really just create value and give you the benefit in these long, grindy games. Now, yes, Villain can go longer and do a lot more with Avenger, Devastator, Relentless, Snoke. Like, they've got big things that are probably better than yours, but you can definitely win some attrition games, and I love this. And I love that it's each of the next 3 Republic cards cost 1 less. So you can definitely cheat out some pretty valuable things and keep Coordinate online because you can play a bunch of different things from that. And the Republic unit obviously can be very valuable. We'll just have to keep continuing and keeping an eye on like what Republic cards do we actually really get. I mean, from the first 2 sets, the only things that we have are General Krell and Mace Windu. There's the Vanguard Ace and the Adelphi, but those are New Republic. In case you look up just the word Republic on any of the databases. But yeah, we'll just have to continue to keep an eye on some of these. Obviously, the new Echo seems pretty good. If Coordinate's online, he's a 2 cost 4/4. There's some interesting stuff in blue, like Heroism has some good stuff. Shakti has some good given +1s. Anakin, the Lat Gunship, like Plo Koon. There's definitely some things out there that you're going to want to grab and be able to play for that. And even R2-D2 is Republic, the new one. So I'm a big fan of this. Like, if you think of some of these decks, hero decks, if you go like Tranquility into home 1, like, that's a pretty good turn. You could definitely keep your board present up for that. Now, the on attack wouldn't matter but next turn because you're just simply playing home 1. But I like this card. I think it will find some space in the decks that are playing just a bunch of Republic stuff. Next, we have the Wartime Trade Official. Ground unit, 2 cost, Vigilance, Villainy, 1 attack, 3 health, Separatist Official. When defeated, create a battle droid token, common. Just keep the exploit going. I think this will be pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Separatist seems like it matters. Official can matter. I think it only matters with Royal Guard. So, I mean, Pal Blue would potentially like him. Makes it easy to exploit and play things. Has an official to give your Royal Guard Sentinel and stuff like that. But yeah, I think just solid all-around card, and I'm hoping to see more of this and the heroism side as well. And then we got Calculating, Magna Guard, 3 cost, ground unit, Vigilance, Villainy, 3 attack, 4 health, Separatist Droid, and this has a when played and a when a friendly unit is defeated, this unit gains Sentinel for this phase, and it's an uncommon. I like this a lot. I think this could be really good. You know, my mind, I've been playing a lot of Kira, so Kira Green, and this can be pulled off Vader, and it's a 3/4. It's obviously better. I mean, it's hard to say obviously better because stuff like the Phase 3, nobody really plays a cell block anymore, but those are just always Sentinels. But the bonus on this side is that it's a 3/4. You get that 1 extra health. It could potentially eat something a little bit more or delay a second attack. And the when a friendly unit is defeated really will just depend on the exploit, right? If I follow up with Vader and then I can exploit the next round on maybe a 1/1 token or something and give this guy Sentinel again, that could be pretty powerful plays into some of these more like mid-range and even aggro decks if you can last that long into that. So I'm a fan of him. I like it. 3 for 3/4, fine stats, and then the conditional Sentinel. I prefer the 3/4 to the 4/3 and something like Echo Base. I just like that additional health. It lets you survive Sabines, Battlefield Marines, the Viper Probe Droid, if anybody plays that anymore. But, you know, these 3 attack 2 drops. On the next one, another 2-cost ground unit, but this is Vigilance Heroism. It's Outspoken Representative. 0 attack, 3 health, Republic Official. While you control another Republic unit, this unit gains Sentinel, and when defeated, create a Clone Trooper token. And it's common. I'm like 99% sure that the character they're depicting was a traitor in Clone Wars, but I would need to rewatch it. It's kind of funny that they're heroism, if that is true. I don't know. Like, essentially you get 2/5 from a 2-drop in worth of stats, but not at the same time. They only have Sentinel of the Republic. They won't trade in anything. Great at keeping Coordinate online, of course, right? This is the stuff you want to see where they replace itself on the board to keep those things alive, but I don't know. You almost want to see like would 1/3 really be that crazy? But I guess then you're getting a 3/5 out of stats on a 2-drop. I don't know. It seems fine, but nothing to like go crazy about. Now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. This is a space unit, 3 cost, command Villainy, Magna Guard Wing Leader, 3 attack, 4 health, Separatist Vehicle Fighter. Action, attack with a droid unit, then attack with another droid unit. Use this ability only once each round. It's an uncommon. It is not a droid unit itself, so you can't attack with that and something else. But it's lay ability. It's Rebel Assault, just on an action. What is not to like? I mean, 3, 3, 4, fine, even argue great stats in space. Can trade with Red 3, A-Wings, you know, all that, and also just give you really good action economy to where if you have 2 battle droid tokens out, you can attack with both of them and then exploit them. It's not attack, they go, attack, they go, and then exploit. You know, you can shorten your window in which your exploit happens to where you maybe could keep initiative, but also just like sneaking in 2 units is always just going to be good. But you see that with Leia. Leia has been a good character, just outshined by that what she wants to do. Sabine also is generally doing. And also, Rebels haven't really gotten it. They got like Riken and Cassian in set 2, and who knows if they'll get anything in set 3. But that ability is very good, and getting that on a unit like this is awesome because it also doesn't require to be exhausted. So even if you play this later and you have 2 units out, you can attack and attack. Boom, boom. Doesn't require it to be exhausted. So big fan of this. And then we got Kanani. I love that Kraken and Kanani are both in this game, but it almost upsets me that we got Kraken and Kanani together, but we didn't get BT and 000 together with Afra coming out. Cheers to that. Maybe not cheers. Maybe I should have poured that out, but I have carpet, so I'm not going to do that. But Kanani is a 6-cost ground unit, command, villainy, analytical general. 5 attack, 7 health, separatist droid. On attack, you may choose another unit. If you have the initiative, you may choose up to 2 other units instead. Give each chosen unit +2/+2 for this phase. I mean, obviously, just like giving stats is great. If you can give 2 battle droids and make them 3/3s and stuff like that, and as what Kraken will do at 5, it spawns 2 tokens. I mean, 6, 5, 7, and I know people compare it to Vader stats, but like the best part of Vader isn't like 5, 7. At 7, it's his ability to ambush and bring another unit into play. So it's like, yes, he has 5, 7, but also, I mean, he can bring in a 2, 3. He can bring in a Death Trooper, which is 3, 3, but also could do 2 damage on played. Like, yes, he has Vader stats, but obviously Vader is better because he has ambushing, plays like another unit. But I do like Kalani. The worry is it's too slow, right? Yes, he could be UCL'd. Yes, he could be time lead. Yes, all these things. But as we've generally seen, unless they're like big blowout plays like Wrecker or something like that, or Poe, somebody being stable to ECL is not gonna do it. But yeah, I mean, his ability is just, it's similar to Vader in that sense, in that he does give out stats, right? He could give out 4/4 worth of stats, but that remains to be seen if you have initiative, and then also if that thing also just doesn't immediately die. Those are the big questions. But I like Kalani, and as we'll see in a minute with some of the leaders, like a little bit later with Dooku, just about exploit working, like Separatists getting them. Him coming out early could be really interesting, and stuff like that. Like, if you can get exploit with Dooku, he could come out at 4 potentially. If on 4 for a 5/7, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. 00M Series Officer, ground unit, 2 cost, aggression, villainy, 2 attack, 1 health, separatist droid. When defeated, deal 2 damage to base. It's a common. Villain, aggression, aggro is getting there. I just played Kylo tonight a little bit, and I struggled to close out some of the games against Control. What did I play against? Cad Bane Blue, and I just couldn't get there. But if I had the Series Officer, I feel like that could have been potentially different. I like him a lot. I think he'll be great in the decks that he wants to be in. But yeah, he's not like, you're not jamming him in every deck. But 2 cost, 2/1, when defeated, deal 2 damage to base is great in the aggro decks that you want to be in. And then also this, Squadron of Vultures, 6 cost space unit, aggression, villainy, 5 attack, 4 health, separatist droid vehicle fighter, has exploit 3. It's a common. I mean, you could play this for free. You could play a 5/4 for free in space, which is crazy. Yes, you have to kill 3 units, but like, you probably got value out of those droids. But, and even like, I don't know. This just seems very, very good. I mean, we have seen these token spawners with Kraken, with that 3 attack or 3 cost like villainy that spawns another one on it, the droid escort. Like, there's been a lot of abilities that we have seen that keep these tokens going. And I mean, like, you don't have to wait till turn 6 for this. You could like if you go droid escort into, was Kalani 4? No, he was 5. Or Kraken, sorry. But like even that, and then Kraken at 5, and then if you like deploy your leader and you still have that green base that deploys 2 more tokens, like you could have. There's a lot of value to be seen with exploit, and I'm a big fan of this. This seems to be one of the better exploit cards too, and we've seen a lot of good ones as well. So I'll be looking to play this. I mean, yeah, 5/4, even even for 4. Even if you just sack one thing, a 5/4 for 4 in space seems great. And then we come down a little bit. We have Grenade Strike. It's a 2-cost event. Aggression. It's a tactic. It's a common. Deal 2 damage to a unit. You may deal 1 damage to another unit in the same arena. Seems fine. I mean, it'd be great in draft, I think. You know, picking off pay 2 to just delete 2 droid tokens. Seems fine. But constructed play, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how relevant 2 and then 1 will be within it. Yeah, I mean, it's like if battle droids take over, maybe, but I don't know. There's probably just better cards that you can play than this that I just can't currently think of, but I'm not overly impressed by this. So, yeah. Rush Clovis. This card I am impressed by. It's a 4-cost ground unit, Cunning, Villainy. Yes, Cunning gets all the great cards, apparently. But Banking, Clan. Oh, my gosh. Where's Flock to make fun of him? Skion? I don't even... SCION. I'm going to get flamed. Oh, man, I hope Flox doesn't watch that. But yeah, Rush is the worst. If you've watched Clone Wars, he's 3 attack, 5 health, Separatist official, raid 2, on attack. If the defending player controls no ready resources, create a battle droid token. So, I mean, this is something that we've continued to see, like, these abilities to create this. I mean, a 4-cost, potential 5/5, you probably do want to open attack so he doesn't get interacted with, but there's definitely chances. 5 health is like a decent breaking point going in around 5 to where they want to probably just spend 5 on something. But yeah, I like him a lot. I think it looks great. Love the artwork on this. I know some people weren't huge on this. These are rare, by the way, as well. But yeah, I mean, essentially a 3/5 with raid 2. On attack can create more tokens. If you even get that off once, and you essentially get a 6/6 worth of stats for 4. That's really, really good. So big fan of him. I think you'll see play. He works with Grand Inquisitor. The copium on Grand Inquisitor is alive and forever existing, but I think it's time for that to die off for just more things to take its place. But Rush Clovis just seems great in a Boba deck and a Grand Inquisitor deck, sure. But just yellow villain in general. I mean, he seems great. I like him a lot. Big fan of him. 5 health is what I am just a big fan of. So yeah. On the next one, Tactical Droid Commander, 5-cost ground unit, Cunning, Villainy, 4 attack, 4 health, Separatist Droid, Exploit 2. When you play another Separatist unit, you may exhaust a unit that costs the same as or less than the played unit. Uncommon. So what's really interesting is that you can be played for 1. Right, with Exploit 2. But when you play another Separatist unit, you may exhaust a unit that costs the same as or less. And I feel like Exploit is just going to, like, blow this up. Because it's like, sure, that seems nice. Sure, like, whatever. Yeah, you can exhaust the same thing. But, like, you play him, even if you play him at 5, the next turn, if you play that 6 drop, you could play that for free and exhaust a 6 cost. Going back to the those Vulture droids, Squadron of Vultures. Like, the exploit ability, I feel like is going to make this ability a lot better than what we might initially think. And so I don't think this is like 5 for 4/4. Obviously, is not amazing, but it has exploit on it. So if you can play as a 3 for 4/4, seems decent. Obviously, 1 for 4/4 feels great. And then just the ability to continually exploit. Like, obviously, that'll be hard to trigger if you're using exploit on this commander, but it is certainly something that you want to take a look at. And then I can't believe we have 0. 0 the Hutt is a 5-cost ground unit, Cunning, Villainy, 2 attack, 8 health, Underworld Hutt. When played, for each opponent, you may exhaust a unit that player controls. On attack, for each opponent, you may exhaust a resource that player controls. This is an insane Twin Suns card, and I love it so much that it's 0. Oh, also, a Colorful Schemer is the title. I don't know. Like, constructed... Obviously, the abilities are great. 8 health is great at 5. And constantly exhausting resources, it could be interesting, but sometimes it's like, if they played something big and like trading is weird and stuff like that. But exhausting resources always getting pretty good, especially it's just on attack, right? Xanadu Blood was people were excited about to exhaust resources, but that you had to bounce an underworld unit for, right? There was 2 restrictions of an underworld and bouncing a unit, where Zero just does that. I like that a lot. I think it'll be more of a Twin Suns card that'll go crazy. Don't know that I'll necessarily see like constructed play. I don't know. I feel like that one could bite me, but if I had to vote, I would say not constructed play. And Twin Suns is where this will shine. Like 5 is just like, I don't know. I want to get something a little bit more out of that. But I mean, you know, paying at 5 and exhausting like a big unit could certainly be good. But then if they just play a 5-drop that's bigger, like, you know, you're gonna be a little bit scared. And then we have an event, Wartime Profiteering. 1 cost, Cunning, Villainy, has a supply tag. Look at cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of units that were defeated this phase. Draw 1 and put the others on the bottom of your deck in a random order. It's an uncommon. This seems great, especially with Exploit. Like, you just play a big bomb, silver resource hanging out. You spend 1 to do this. You could look through 2 to 3 cards at the top of your deck and draw 1 that you like that could be better, more relevant in the situations you like. You can't not defeat anything and pay 1 to draw. They did confirm this on the stream because this was the last card spoiled on the Wednesday stream. But this seems good. I mean, yeah, I like this in the Exploit decks. Just the ability to draw, to pick from 2 or 3 cards, I think will be really good. I'd assume 2 on average is probably what you would be looking at, and then drawing 1 of them. So, yeah, I'm a fan. On top of things, is a 2-cost upgrade, Cunning. When played, attached unit can't be attacked this phase unless it has Sentinel. +2, +0. It's a trick. Does not work with Jabba. I know some people quoted Jabba is working with this, but Jabba says trick event, so you cannot draw on top of things. I don't know. I know that sounds great. Attached unit can't be attacked this phase, but I feel like Jetpack is just better. I know you can't be attacked, so the trade-off is Jetpack blocks it from cards like that deal damage. So Open Fire, Carabast, you know, whatever. But Jetpack can be still traded out by 2 attacks, potentially, whereas on top of things can't be traded out by any attacks that phase. But you could play this on something, and it could get Open Fired. It could get, you know, whatever. Obviously, Jetpack, and on top of things, both of them could get takedowned or Fell the Dragon or Rival's Fall because shields and can't get tech don't stop those things. But then Jetpack also has the upside of being smuggled, where this does not. So for me, this just doesn't... If I'm playing a 2-cost +2 +0, I probably will just play Jetpack and not on top of things. So that's kind of where I'm at for this card. Funny story for this, if you didn't see on Twitter, back in February at the content creator event that FFG hosted, I was talking with Xander and Jim Cartwright about just some of the set 1 leaders. And then at that point, Sugi, I think it was, came up and said how much he loved Thrawn, and I was saying, you know, I'm not totally sure where he's at. And then I just threw like a random dart because Suki said he was going to win Worlds with Thrawn. I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to win Worlds with set 3, number 5 leader. And here we are. We finally have that leader. I've had no idea who that's been for the last, 8 months, 7 months. But we have Count Dooku. He's the face of the Confederacy. He's command villainy. And I do have to win him a World. So I'll be playing him, I guess, for the next, Worlds is sometime summer. So for the next 8 months, 9 months, or whatever, maybe a year. We'll see. Action, exhaust him. Play a Separatist card from your hand. It gains Exploit 1. Force Separatist Sith. He comes out at 7. He's a 5/9 with Overwhelm. And on attack, the next Separatist card you play this phase gains Exploit 3. I mean, you got to compare him to Palp. He comes out a turn earlier. Is his flip that much better? I don't think so. But it could be, because you could play something for 6 less. Separatist that doesn't naturally have it, but also you could give something more of that from our understanding of the current rules. We haven't seen set 3 rule set obviously yet, but it's an integer, so like restore or raid, it should be able to stack. So if something already has Exploit 2 and you give it Exploit 1, it should now have 3. If you give it exploit 3, it should then have 5. Things like that. So his ability to stack that seems super interesting. 5/9 obviously is great with Overwhelm. That's like the stats of Hunter, and the only thing that saves him is that big stat line with Overwhelm. But again, he's just in the same color as Palp. Palp does an amazing job of being in control, of ramping, of card draw, whereas Dooku does not. And he falls into the same worry of Jabba ended up just being nothing. There was no reason, and there is no reason, generally, to run Jabba. I'm sure some people enjoy that. I'm sure some people are upset at that. But I know there's some power plays with Jabba that he has that others don't, especially in yellow, playing like giving something to Bounty, playing that 3/4 Reputable Hunter, and then like the Haxian Brood at 3/4 or 4/3 to give it a shield, and then Dryden Boss, capturing, keeping things. I understand that. But he's generally a little bit too slow in what he does. But whereas Dooku is nice in that he could just do it off the rip. His first action, he could do this. Whereas Jabba had to give a bounty, defeat it, play something. Dooku, to me, slots definitely above Jabba. But Palp is a little bit harder to say. We'll have to see how the Separatist cards shake out and what they totally look like. And it actually is interesting in that you can give any Separatist card exploit 1. So any out of aspect cards simply can be played on curve. And currently, from only set 1 and 2, the only Separatist card I believe we have is the Count Dooku 7-cost Vigilance, defeating unit when played for 4 less, with 4 less HP remaining. So, I mean, certainly you could play like green, red, and still have like, 1, 2, or 3 Dookus from set 1 in your deck, and still play him for 7 because you can always give him exploit. Will you have enough droids for that? Will that always be viable? Could it potentially just straight up be a dead card? All these questions remain to be seen, but it at least begs the question for me to be interested in that. So I'm excited to play Dooku. I'll be playing him a bunch because I'm supposed to win Worlds with him. We'll see that happens. I could have definitely got worse leaders. I don't think Dooku's breaking in the meta. He's not like looking like immediately being like, oh, he's as good as Hantu, Boba, Sabine, things like that. But he's certainly better than a lot of leaders, in my opinion. Next up, we have another ground unit, 3-cost, command, villainy, droid commando, 4 attack, 3 health, separatist droid trooper. While you control another separatist unit, this unit gains ambush. 4/3 is weird. On curve, how much do you really care with the extra 4, the extra attack, the 4 attack? I'm not sure there's too many. Could be good. I mean, the Separatist could be potentially online a lot. Like I said, with tokens, we've seen like almost everything villain this set, especially in green, has been Separatist. So that keyword is going to be there a lot. But I mean, I think this card, like, just obviously ambush is a great keyword. Given that to that on 4 attack for 3 is going to be amazing. To have, but will that be consistent? Will that be something you want all the time? Remains the question, but certainly this is a good look. And any 3 villain, especially in green, I'm going to constantly be like, Vader can pull that. If there's a Separatist on the board, you could kill a 9 health thing with Vader, because Vader could ambush for 5, and this could be 4 more if you have another Separatist. So certainly that's a great play. So definitely worth looking at that, even for that reason alone. Next, we have the Vanguard Droid Bomber, 2-cost space unit, just aggression, 2 attack, 2 health, Separatist droid vehicle fighter. When played, if you control another Separatist unit, deal 2 damage to an enemy base. I mean, this seems pretty good. Even going back to the other droid, the series officer, just dealing damage to base on just natural abilities with some of these just red cards just feel pretty good. I mean, does Hero ever play this? I mean, I doubt it. I don't know what Hero cards they might have that they would want that have Separatist. But Villain certainly likes this. Even just looking at, like, I'm thinking, like, my Kylo deck, whatever color he ends up forming, playing him yellow a lot now. But, like, just that damage out of hand could be very, very nice that color generally doesn't have right now. Hero has... For cause, Hero has like K2SO pinging some extra damage. Like, Villain doesn't quite have that, but these cards are definitely going to keep pushing it in that direction. Next up, the card that I'm like the most unsure of is the Invisible Hand. It's an 8-cost space unit, just villainy, imposing flagship. This is what Grievous was on and had Palpatine at the start of episode 3. 4 attack, 7 health, separatist vehicle, capital ship. When played, create 4 battle droid tokens. On attack, exhaust any number of friendly separatist units, deal 1 damage to the defending player's base for each unit exhausted this way. So it's an 8-cost, 811 worth of stats. How much are you going to be paying damage to the base for that, or are you really just going to be exploiting them? It could be a great generator for that. That's pretty much where my mind is at. Like, you could play this at 8, put 4 tokens out. You now have a 4/7 in space, and then you can then play an exploit 4 and play another 8-drop. Like, you could play 2 8-drops on the turn this comes out, which seems interesting. Like, I don't know how crazy I am about the on attack. I'm more interested in, like, almost having like a pseudo Dr. Evazan turn where you play this, you create like 3 to 4, well, you create 4 battle droids, but maybe you can only actually exploit 3 because your opponent might kill one of them next. So that's kind of where my mind is at. And with Dooku, obviously, you could potentially give plenty of things exploit. So that's kind of where my mind's at. I'm not like crazy about this, but it definitely seems, I mean, just creating 4 battle droid tokens makes me feel like I need to look at this at least. The on attack is kind of whatever for me right now. I have the high ground, 1-cost event, Vigilance. It's a tactic. Choose a friendly unit. Each enemy unit gets -4, -0 while attacking that unit this phase. Obviously, that's great. On, you know, you drop this on Obi-Wan, everything gets -4. Like, I think it'll feel really good. Obi-Wan unit or leader, but I don't know. You would need initiative to play this. I'm not like crazy on this, but there'll definitely be games where you probably get blown out by this. I think this card is like that borderline playable, but I don't know if it even makes the 60 because it's just so situational. Because there could be just ways that it just like does nothing because your opponent has an answer to that. A Spec Force Soldier, Waylay, you know, whatever it might be. So I'm not like huge on this, but I can see the situations where it'll be great. And generally, like, yes, that could be great with Obi-Wan leader, but sometimes leaders just straight up die when they get deployed, or they don't die for the next few turns anyways. So then -4 on that might not be like crazy relevant. But it's only 1 cost. You're not committing a lot to do that. So I think that alone makes it seem like it might be worth exploring at an in-depth level for that. And then next we have the Confederate Courier, the FedEx space frigate, or whatever Nerd Parker called it. 2-cost space unit, command, villainy, 2 attack, 1 health, separatist vehicle, fighter. When defeated, create a battle droid token. Seems great to me. I mean, you're getting a 3/2 worth of stats that works with exploit, works with defeat and stuff. I mean, like, I know I'm excited about Dooku, but, like, I mean, this is just another great thing with Palp. Consistently keeping things up to where you can draw cards and ping units. Like, that's great, because one of the best ways that I have of defeating Palp is consistently denying his card draw and his ability to, like, throw units at me. Obviously, he doesn't want to throw things like an officer or a Royal Guard, but he loves to throw the super laser attacks at me, and some of these smaller things are Salacious Crumbs and things like that. But now you have these couriers that are spawning these 1/1 tokens, and even just a 2/1 itself, like, he's more than happy to throw that at me. So I think this will be pretty decent in the decks that want to constantly be sacking units and exploiting. Like, it's not crazy 2/1 in space. You know, obviously it's not trading with A-Wings or some of these aggro cards, but, you know, there are some 3/2s in space that we've seen where this cares. And it's interesting that it swaps lanes for you a little bit, right? It can defeat the Kylo TIE silencer, it can defeat the mercenary gunship, and then gives you a 1/1 left over in ground in a different arena, which is pretty cool. So I'm a fan of this. And the last card we have, speaking of Palp, Amada. Vice Chair, 2-cost ground unit, double command, 0 attack, 4 health, Republic official. When you play another unit, you may exhaust this unit. If you do, search the top 4 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal it, and draw it. Put the others on the bottom of your deck in a random order. Is rare. I mean, even just like looking at Palp, playing this guy at 2, and then following up with Royal Guard, and then drawing a card off that, like, that seems pretty good. Double command, we'll have to see if anything at, like, it continues to be Palp for me in that color. So that's kind of where I'm at. He seems great in there. Question is, does Palp need more card draw? Potentially, because now he's just, like, searching for the unit that is more relevant than what he might have in his hand. And also, he doesn't have to sack his units on the board. He just has to exhaust an official, which is putting his Sentinel online anyways, his 3/5 Sentinel online anyways. So I like Masameda a lot. I think he'll be pretty good in the control decks that want to be him. Is that Dooku? I don't know. Official just constantly goes right to Palpatine to get Royal Guards online. And those, yes, I could play them in Dooku as well, but then they're only a 3/4. Like, them being a 3/5 Sentinel is really just what makes them just so good. So that's kind of where just my mind is at for that stuff. But that's all the spoilers we have. I tried to burn through it as fast as I could at 40 minutes. Still on a yapper. But I like all these cards. This set continues to excite me, and is it November yet? Is really what the question becomes. Love seeing Dooku, love seeing Padme, and I'm curious to see what we get in this upcoming week. As always, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, all those things. Post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, gameplay, videos, whatever it might be. But appreciate y'all watching, and catch you next time.